And Darren, this will be a day when both religious and political sensitivities will be uppermost in the King's mind.
Yeah, and unsurprisingly, of course, given the fact that we're in Northern Ireland, as you say, the King and Queen have just landed at Belfast City Airport. They're making their way to Hillsborough Castle, which is the official residence of the monarch here in Northern Ireland. It is also, as you've suggested, the residence for the Secretary of State here as well, Chris Heaton-Harris, who've only been in the job less than a week. He will officially welcome the King and Queen there, and then, as you say, interestingly, he's going to meet a whole cross-section of people from different political parties, but also from different religious groups across Northern Ireland. And it will be a reminder, I think, for the King. This is a man who is on his 40th visit to Northern Ireland, first as King, but he's been here many times before. He does not need a reminder, as you say, of those political sensitivities, religious sensitivities that still exist in Northern Ireland. For many people in this province, they will welcome the King with open arms. They will be dreadfully pleased to see him, that he has come to this part of the United Kingdom. For others, however, who do not identify as British, who identify as nationalists, who want to see a republic in Ireland, this is not necessarily a day of celebration for them. Though it must be said, actually, when you talk to the nationalist community here in Northern Ireland, on the whole, people are either indifferent or there is quiet sympathy on the death of Her Majesty the Queen. Then after that reception at Hillsborough Castle, the King and Queen will travel here, as you say, to St Anne's Cathedral in the centre of Belfast, in which they will attend a service of remembrance and celebration for Her Majesty the Queen. Again, it's going to be attended by lots of different religious and political figures, including, it must be said, our very own Arlene Foster, who will be in attendance, but also quite a large delegation from Ireland. So we're going to see the Irish President here, Michael D. Higgins, the Taoiseach, Micheál Martin, along with the Irish Foreign Minister, Simon Coveney, as well. A reminder, of course, that again, despite the troubled past, the people in the Republic of Ireland want to pay tribute to Her Majesty the Queen. They are neighbours, we are neighbours on these islands, and of course the Queen played a really large role, didn't she, Mark, in much of the reconciliation process, particularly in the last decade or so, with that state visit that we saw, as I say, just over a decade ago. So this is part of King Charles's tour of the United Kingdom. He's obviously travelled from Scotland today. He will travel back to London later on this evening, but he will also visit Wales as a former Prince of Wales later on this week too.
Darren, will the public get a chance to catch a glimpse, a sighting of His Majesty and the Queen Consort?
Yeah, they will indeed. So quite a few people have already gathered at Hillsborough Castle this morning and Hillsborough Village. It's a little village just south of Belfast. They will, of course, get to see him as he goes along in his cavalcade, though he is expected to get out of the gates relatively shortly, actually, in the next couple of minutes or so, to view some of the floral tributes that have been laid outside Hillsborough Castle. He will then drive by car into Belfast, and some of the city centre routes here in Belfast, as I was walking to St Anne's Cathedral, people are starting to line that route. And here at St Anne's Cathedral, they haven't started streaming in just yet, but there will be members of the public in this kind of pen behind me. Now, again, perhaps unsurprisingly, security is quite tight here. People do have to go through airport security to get relatively close to His Majesty the King. But the expectation is that once that service ends inside the cathedral, that, yeah, he will go on a bit of a walkabout and say hello to some of the people here in Northern Ireland.